Hey everybody, back for another year in review for WWE. This year I'm going to cover 2007. Was 2007 as good as 2006? Unfortunately, no. Guys, I'm just going to come right out and say it. This was not a good year for them. I'm going to go over each of the pay-per-views in detail actually this time. I can't quite make a top list of matches because the ones that were good kind of fall into the same category. However, I will point out the ones that are good while I'm doing it. But right here is stuff that's worthy of a Hall of Shame. This was all submitted documentation stating on just like all like the real kind of crap moments of all of 2007 in World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, if you disagree with any of this, just understand that this is just a fun list I printed up. I thought it'd be kind of funny to kind of point it out, kind of for humor. So, because I lack general humor, I decided to add a set of humor. So, hope you guys enjoy. 2007, talking about the January 1st edition. Kevin Federline beating John Cena. Obviously, I don't know what they were thinking with that. I actually do remember watching a highlight of that. And whatever, I have nothing to say on it. Talking about the forced feud between Donald Trump and Vince McMahon. Then going on to talk about the feud between Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell, which I believe was what led into the feud with him and Vince McMahon, because McMahon used it as fuel. Talking about how the Divas and ECW in this time were not nearly up to par. And I'm going to quote them on this. Kelly, Layla, Al, and Brooke Adams stunk up the ring in ECW with their dancing on a weekly basis. These three divas are about as useless as milk at a gay bar. Ouch. Layla Al is a professional dancer, but when she's dancing next to two uncoordinated buffoons, it only makes her look as bad as the other two. While ECW wrestlers were getting released on a seemingly weekly basis, and I'm going to stop there real quick. I don't necessarily agree with his writing style. I will say that ECW... It was very weak, and I was not a fan. Talking about Jillian Hall and how they constantly were making it a gimmick with her singing, and she released an album that year, and oh my God, it was terrible. And yeah, did I skip anything? No. Talking about the New Breed, CM Punk part of the New Breed, and they're talking about other people too, Elijah Burke, Marcus Corbin, Matt Striker, Kevin Thorne. Again, I really feel that the only good thing to come out of the New Breed was CM Punk. I wasn't a fan of anyone else. Elijah Burke and everyone else felt kind of boring. If anyone else had any talent whatsoever, I would say probably Elijah Burke. The self-proclaimed King of Extreme were referring to Vince McMahon defeating Bobby Lashley to capture the ECW title, which to me felt like it was his ego. Also spitting in the fan of all ECW. That's pretty much what it felt like, and that's what it goes on to say in this. It goes on to talk about Sabu and how he went from like legendary in ECW to eventually jobbing to everybody in the WWE. I've never been a fan of the guy. Talking about I don't know anything about. It's referring to pop music. A lot of this stuff I'm just skimming through. Talking about Mark Henry, I personally don't have anything against the guy. I think when it comes to him being a heel, there is some draw to him, but talent wise, I'd say he's less entertaining than the Big Show, and Big Show does have his entertaining moments. Talking about he came back after re-signing in 2000. So, let's see. Talking about Vince McMahon and how him losing the ECW against One Night Stand. Vince lost his mind. Put Tori Wilson in a match with Carlito. then scheduled a really boring triple threat with John Cena, Great Khali, and Umaga. I did see that. That was extremely boring. Had them lose. The Hardys lose to Cade and Murdoch. I actually saw that match, and it wasn't bad. Intercontinental title, Santino Marella defend his match. I don't know what this is about. Apparently, he was having an issue. The Vince McMahon is dead storyline, that was pretty stupid. It was immediately scrapped because in 2007, there was a tragedy involving Chris Benoit and his family, and that whole storyline was completely scrapped. Theodore Long, not a fan of him as a general manager, not a fan of him really in any way outside of him being a ref. Just, I'm sorry, but I felt like every time I was watching him on paper or watching him on TV, it was just the same thing. It was the same. It was the same guy. There was no real depth of character. It was just the same guy, and he was just like, let's give fans what they want. I'm the face. I'm the face of SmackDown. Let's make the main event a tag team match because that's what they did. But he always had to have a woman by his side. Whatever. Unrealistic. Divas champion. They're referring to a few females in this year who they felt were like very undeserving of the title. Going on to say how someone like Candice Michelle getting a lot of victories over Melina and Victoria. Yeah. That is what it is. I wasn't a fan of it. I feel like there was a lot of questionable moves in 2007. Johnny Nitro becoming John Morrison, reinventing himself. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but if he was going to turn face, I guess it would have worked out, but whatever. I don't really care. Oh, and then, of course, the illegitimate son of Vince McMahon, which inevitably turned out to be Hornswoggle the whole time. I felt that was a complete waste of time, and it was extremely stupid. So, 2007 was a year where they were pretty much doing whatever they can to keep the fans, and that was because they knew that they were making some pretty bad decisions. But, how are the pay-per-views? Got it all right here. So I'm just going to go through them real quick. New Year's Revolution, Hardy defeats Nitro in a steel cage match. That was good. Crime Time won their tag team turmoil match. That wasn't that bad. Kenny Dykstra defeats Ric Flair in a grudge match. That wasn't anything special. Mickey James defeats Victoria. That was an incredible match. DX versus Randy Orton and Edge. It was a no contest. That was alright. Chris Masters defeats Carlito. These two I was very surprised with. I like them both. I'm surprised they're still not around in the WWE. Or if they are, they're hiding really well. John Cena defeated Umaga. I felt that was extremely boring. Oh, yeah, and the rest is just... and then there was the dark match to start the show that wasn't on pay-per-view. Kozlov defeated Eugene in the match that followed. Yeah, I actually ended up printing out way more than I needed to. This is just going in-depth with it. It's really nothing too crazy. The Royal Rumble. Hardy Boys defeated Eminem. That was okay. Lashley defeated Test by countout. That was a good match. Batista defeated Mr. Kennedy. That was a good match. They had John Cena beat Umaga in the last man standing match. That was extremely boring. Royal Rumble was awesome. Undertaker ends up winning the whole shebang. This year's Royal Rumble was really good. It came down to, I believe, it came down to Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And Undertaker ended up winning. Alright. We get to No Way Out. The dark match, believe it or not, was Rob Van Dam and Shelton Benjamin. I'm not an expert in this, guys, but aren't those the first two? Isn't that a match you want to keep, for everyone to see? Chris Benoit and the Hardys defeat Mercury, Nitro, and MVP. That was alright. Chavo Guerrero won the Cruiserweight title in a Cruiserweight title gauntlet. That was pretty good. Kane beats King Booker. I remember that match. It was based off of Kane causing Booker T, or vice versa, the Royal Rumble. That was alright. Paul London and Brian Kendrick beat Deuce and Domino. These guys, London and Kendrick, were amazing. Probably the best tag team of the whole year. Probably one of the top 10 tag teams over the past 10 years. Finlay and Hornswoggle beat Boogeyman and Little Boogeyman. I thought that the Little Boogeyman thing was kind of stupid. The match wasn't all that great. Mr. Kennedy defeated Bobby Lashley by DQ. That was alright. Divas International Talent Contest. That's when they announced Ashley as the winner. I thought she was okay, but I particularly didn't like her that much in the ring. John Cena and Shawn Michaels defeat Batista and The Undertaker. That match wasn't all that great. I think I had my match of the night going to Kennedy and Bobby Lashley. One of the few times Bobby Lashley is going to be on here. And no disrespect to Lashley, I do think he's very talented. I'm not a huge fan of him. There's a lot of matches I thought that, he was just very uncoordinated and sloppy. And then we get to WrestleMania 23. Mr. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank ladder match. That was awesome. The Great Khali defeated Kane. That was extremely boring. Chris Benoit defeated MVP for the U.S. title. That was an awesome match. Undertaker defeated Batista. That was an awesome match. I think that was the match of the night for me. Yeah, that was the match of the night. The ECW Originals defeated the New Breed. I felt this was probably one of the worst matches of the night compared to the upcoming one. Bobby Lashley defeats Umaga, causing Mr. McMahon to get his head shaved. Yeah, I was not a fan. I felt the match was very dragged out. Melina defeats Ashley to retain the title. I'm sorry, Ashley does not beat Melina. Melina she's amazing in the ring. And John Cena defeats Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. I thought that was alright. So not as good as a WrestleMania as it has been over the few years. I'm just going to point that out right now. WrestleMania 23, definitely not up there. Then we go into Backlash. Hardy Boys beat Kane and Murdoch to retain the tag titles. Melina defeats Mickie James to retain the women's title. That was a great match. So was the tag team match before it. Benoit beats MVP to hold on to the U.S. title. That was good. Umaga and the McMahons defeat Bobby Lashley in a 3-on-1 handicap match for the ECW title. The Undertaker and Batista goes to a draw for Last Man Standing. That was an incredible match. That was the match of the night. And Cena defeats Orton, Edge, and Michaels in a fatal 4-way for the WWE title. That one was alright. We go to Judgment Day. Ric Flair defeats Carlito in a grudge match. Lashley beats the McMahons and Umaga to get the ECW title back. CM Punk beats Elijah Burke in a grudge match. Randy Orton defeats Shawn Michaels. That was actually a pretty good match. The Hardy Boys beat Murdoch and Cade again. I think we're going to get their best match really soon. Edge defeats Batista for the World Heavyweight title. That was awesome, by the way. MVP beats Chris Benoit for a best 2 out of 3 match for the U.S. title. That was also an awesome match. John Cena beats the Great Khali for the WWE Championship. I was extremely disappointed in that match. One Night Stand. Santino defeats Chris Masters. I believe he retains the IC title here. That was not that good. RVD defeats Randy Orton in a stretcher match. That was incredible. That was a great match. Eventually leading Randy Orton to basically put RVD out for a while after the match. CM Punk, Tommy Dreamer, and Sandman defeat Elijah Burke, Marcus Corvan, and Matt Striker. That was kind of stupid. No disrespect to them, but I don't know. This was obviously their attempt to get Punk as far away from the other New Breed as possible because they knew they saw potential in him. The Hardys retained their tag team titles in a ladder match. It's not telling me who. I believe it was Cade and Murdoch again. Mark Henry defeats Kane in a lumberjack match. That was him coming back, I believe. Bobby Lashley defeated Vince McMahon to hold on to the ECW title. Or no, I believe that's him officially winning it, because the show before they were like, yo, you didn't pin Vince, so you don't get it. Michelle beats Melina for a non-title match. I didn't think that was that good. Edge beats Batista in a World Heavyweight title cage match. That was awesome. John Cena beats Great Khali in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Was not a fan. As a matter of fact, I think that Falls Count Anywhere match was worse than the match they had the month prior. Okay, we're getting to Vengeance. This is the last Vengeance before it gets turned into Night of Champions. Cade and Murdoch defeat the Hardys, finally, to get the Tag Team Championship belts. Chavo defeats Jimmy Wang Yang in a Cruiserweight Championship match. Jimmy Wang Yang, I thought, was very impressive. This was a good match. Nitro beats CM Punk to win the ECW Championship. Santino Marella beats Umaga by disqualification to hold on to the Intercontinental Championship. MVP beats Ric Flair to hold on to the United States Championship. That match, I barely remember it. It wasn't even that good. Deuce and Domino defeats Snuka and Sergeant Slaughter to get the WWE World Tag Team Champions. Did not like that. Edge defeats Batista in the third title defense. That was a great match. Candice Michelle defeats Melina for the World WWE Women's Championship. That wasn't that good. And John Cena defends his WWE Championship in a five-way. I believe the other contestants were King Booker, Finlay, Randy Orton, and HBK. Or I don't remember if... No, King Booker was in there. I believe that was it. It's not putting all these on there. We get to Great American Bash. We got the dark match. Palumbo beats Chris Masters, which I would not have. MVP defeats Matt Hardy, United States title. That was a good match. Hornswoggle. And this was the official death of the Cruiserweight Championship. There was a Cruiserweight Championship Invitational, and Hornswoggle ended up winning the whole thing. So that right there was the death of the title. Ever since then, I'm pretty sure they just dissolved it. Carlito beat Sandman in the Kane on a Pole match. This was a terrible match. Did not go for that long. Sandman is extremely uncoordinated in the ring. Candice Michelle beats Melina again to retain the Women's Championship. Umaga beats Jeff Hardy to get the Intercontinental Championship. John Morrison officially debuts from Johnny Nitro and beats CM Punk for the ECW Championship. Randy Orton beats Dusty Rhodes in a bull rope match. I didn't think that was all that great. Khali beats Kane and Batista to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That was terrible. And John Cena beats Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. That was actually a pretty good match. I would have loved to see them push Lashley even further. Alright, now we get to SummerSlam. Kane defeats Finlay in a grudge match. That was okay. Umaga beats Mr. Kennedy and Carlito in a triple threat for the Intercontinental title. That was good. Rey Mysterio returns back to television to defeat Chavo Guerrero in a non-title... there was no title at this point. Beth Phoenix won a tri-branded Divas Battle Royal. That was good. MVP versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a beer drinking contest. That was funny. Morrison defeats CM Punk again to hold on to the ECW title. Triple H defeats King Booker in the King of King match. That was actually not bad. I like how they reinvented Booker. They gave him a little something aside from, the same gimmick they were running from him ever since 2001. Batista defeats the Great Khali by DQ. Khali still has the title. John Cena defeats Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, one of the many times those guys have been in a match this year. SummerSlam, it was alright. Unforgiven. Kane defeats Kenny Dykstra in a dark match. Yay. CM Punk beats Elijah Burke for defending his ECW World Title. I remember the match they had on ECW where Punk won the belt from Morrison. That was a great match. And this wasn't that bad. Hardy and MVP to beat Deuce and Domino to become the WWE Tag Team titles. That was a good match. Triple H defeated Carlito. Carlito was not affected by DQ. Candice Michelle beats Beth Phoenix. I'm curious as to why they had Candice Michelle consistently winning like every month against better opponents. Batista beats the Great Khali and Rey Mysterio in a triple threat match for World Heavyweight title. That was an alright match. Kane and Murdoch beat Kendrick and London to hold on to the tag titles. That wasn't that bad. And John Cena again defeats Randy Orton to hold on to the WWE Championship. And the last match was Undertaker defeats Mark Henry in a grudge match. That was alright. We're almost done here, guys. No Mercy. Hardcore Holly defeated Cody Rhodes in a dark match. I didn't see it. Triple H beats Randy Orton for the vacant WWE Championship. That was pretty cool, actually. Mr. Kennedy, Cade and Murdoch defeat Hardy, Kendrick, and London. That was alright. CM Punk defeats Big Daddy V by disqualification. I was not a fan of Big Daddy V. I've never been a fan of him, or Viscera, or Mabel, or any incantation of the guy. I'm not a fan of how he bullies people in the ring. I'm not a fan of the fact that... I'm going to make something really clear. I don't care if you're a very big guy. I don't care if you're not muscular and you're a fatter person. I don't care. I'm not skinny by any means. But the fact that this guy has did absolutely nothing to improve what he does in the ring, it pisses me off as a fan. Triple H then defeats Umaga to the same night to retain the WWE Championship. Mysterio beats Finlay. Mysterio faces Finlay. That was a no contest. Beth Phoenix finally defeats Candice Michelle for the women's title. Batista defeats Great Khali in a Punjabi prison match. I was not that impressed with it. The prison match, I thought the first time it was really cool, but this time I was just not a fan. Randy Orton beats Triple H in the very last match, last man standing, to win the WWE title. Okay, Cyber Sunday. Rey Mysterio defeats Fit Finlay. I don't know why it says Fit Finlay. He just goes by Finlay. In a stretcher match. That was awesome. CM Punk beats Mike Mizanin for the ECW Championship. Mr. Kennedy defeats Jeff Hardy. That looked like that was a last-minute match. Kane beats MVP. That's all it says there. Randy Orton beats Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. That was good. Triple H faces Umaga again in a street fight. I was not impressed with that. Mickie James won the costume contest. And Batista beats Undertaker. With Stone Cold as the special guest referee. This was an alright match. Almost done. Survivor Series. CM Punk defeats John Morrison and The Miz in a triple threat match for the ECW title. That was alright. Mickie James defeated Team Mickie James defeated Team Beth Phoenix. That was alright. Cade Murdoch defeated Bob Holly and Cody Rhodes to retain the tag team titles. Khali defeated Hornswoggle by disqualification. That was stupid. Team Triple H defeated Team Umaga. It was a 4-on-5 elimination match. Randy Orton defeated Shawn Michaels in a WWE Championship match. And Batista defeated Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match. That was the match of the night and one of my top 10. Alright, we're finishing up Armageddon. Mysterio beats MVP by countout. I believe MVP is still holding the U.S. title. Big Daddy V defeats Big Daddy V and Mark Henry defeat CM Punk and Kane. Shawn Michaels beats Mr. Kennedy in a grudge match. That was pretty good. Jeff Hardy beats Triple H in a number 1 contenders match, which leads into 2008 and pretty good run. Finlay and Hornswoggle beat Great Khali. It was not a good match. Jericho returns and he beats Randy Orton by disqualification. That was a pretty good match. Beth Phoenix beats Mickie James to retain the women's title, and Edge defeats Batista and The Undertaker in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that was the best match of the night. Whew! Lot of stuff there. So thank you for staying as long as you could. I figure it's just easier to go through the whole thing. Let me know what your matches of the year were. Let me know as far as like the news reports with the very beginning of 2007. Just let me know what you felt about 2007 as a whole. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I appreciate it very much. It means a lot to me. And I will see you guys soon for 2008.